In today's brief video, I want to share with you guys one of the greatest benefits that I received when I finally decided to make that decision to quit smoking weed once and for all. And I could make today's video about the improvement in my health. I could talk about how my finances started to correct themselves. I could talk about my relationships that started to slowly repair over time. But that is not one of the best things that I experienced after quitting smoking weed. Those were all really good things, but there was something far better. If you wind up enjoying the content in today's video, be sure to check out the pinned comment in the video description to learn more about our paid one-on-one coaching programs or to download our free 7-step guide to quit smoking weed today. The greatest benefit of quitting smoking weed was that my words started to carry weight again. The things that I would say started to have value again. The things that I would speak started to have meaning again. And the only way I could explain this concept is like this. I, for years, struggled with weed addiction and addiction to nicotine and adult media content, energy drinks, all the things that I talk about on my channel. And for years, I said, okay, I'm going to quit smoking weed. And I wouldn't quit. Today's going to be the day. And I would fail again and again and again. And then I'd say, okay, this week, after this vacation, after this new relationship starts, after this breakup, I'm done smoking weed. And boom. A week later, a month later, several months later, I would return to the substance over and over again. And over time, my words started to carry no weight. They had no value. The things that I would tell myself were just a string of meaningless words that I would say, and they were things that I wouldn't actually wind up following through on. And I believe firmly this is one of the most dangerous side effects of addiction. It created a mentality of subconscious rot where I quickly realized that I was saying I was going to do one thing in my day-to-day life, and I would never see that thing through, whether it was a promise to myself or a promise to someone else, a business obligation. It didn't really matter. There were several areas in my life where I would say one thing and I wouldn't act on it. And at the end of the day, my word eventually lost its value. I lost faith in the things that I was even telling myself after enough periods of saying I was going to quit and then relapsing, saying this was the last time, hell or high water, and then relapsing. One of the biggest benefits of quitting smoking weed that I experienced was that my words started to carry weight. They had value. They had meaning. When I finally decided that I was done and I said, I am not picking up weed again, hell or high water, irrelevant of the situation that life throws at me, I am not smoking weed again, period. My words started to have weight. And after a few months of taking actions to back what I said, aka not smoking weed, I started to say other things. I said, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. Hell or high water, I'm going to find a way. And I remember when I initially launched this YouTube channel, it was on Facebook. I was asking for donations to start a non-for-profit company. I was going to open this as a 501c, which we didn't wind up doing. And I couldn't afford to. I needed about 10 grand to get the process going. And oh my gosh, I got shredded apart on Facebook when I did that. People say, oh, he's just trying to take money. He's this, he's that. I got dragged through the mud when I first started this. But I committed. I said, hell or high water, I'm starting a YouTube channel. We are going to change people's lives when it comes to addiction. And guess what? We're there now. I said I'm eventually going to work with high schoolers, and I'm going to work in the high schools, and I'm going to do the best I can to prevent vaping and prevent smoking weed, or at least give them the facts about it in a different way than they've experienced through programs like DARE or other programs like that, so they can at least make the decision for themselves and at least know what they are or aren't getting into. We do that now. We have contracts with New York State schools. I said I was going to do something, and I did it. My wife, who you see in many of the photos on my channel and my community post, when I met her, I was early into my sobriety. I said the night I met her, I texted my friend, I said, I am going to get married to this girl that I just went on a date on tonight. By the way, that was my 75th online date at that point that I had been on. And we did. Now we're eventually married, and my wife is pregnant with our first child. When I say something now, I mean it. Hell or high water, I am going to see that something through. And this was an attribute, and it's a rare attribute to have these days, but this was something that started and was fostered throughout my early quitting process, because there was many challenges I ran into when I first quit smoking weed. There was many times where I wanted to continually throw in the towel, but I didn't. Last time around, several years ago, when I finally quit, I didn't throw in the towel. I saw the quitting process through, and that created a subconscious level of strength and confidence that has now spilled over into multiple categories of my life, not just my business, not just my relationships, not just my physical health. It's a good feeling when you say something and you can trust in yourself that you're going to get that something done, that something that you said has meaning. Now, I'm really good at it with myself. I'm still improving that as far as my relationships with others goes and my commitments to other people go. I could certainly be better at that. But I can tell you this, I'm 100% better than I was years ago. And I can tell you from a business standpoint, colleagues, friends, family, significant others, they all certainly recognize that. I'm much more a man of my word today than I was several years ago. And this is one of the biggest benefits of quitting smoking weed. Now, if you paid close attention to today's video, this is a conversation about addiction, as are all of my videos. You could take the word weed and you could replace it with alcohol, nicotine, opioids. It doesn't really matter, because this is a consequence of addiction, right? When we have addiction damages our confidence because we no longer can trust ourselves or trust the things that we say. When we finally break that cycle, I'll tell you, it's a confidence boost like I've had from no other. And again, I think it's a rare trait to have these days. So if this is something that you can foster throughout your recovery and your sobriety process, I think you're setting yourself up for a tremendous amount of success. It's hard to fail at something when you absolutely refuse failure. It's hard to give up on something when you absolutely refuse to give up. And that's exactly what my sobriety and recovery process has been. And that mentality has now spilled into many areas of my life, and I'm quite grateful for it. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to check out that pinned comment, check out the video description for more resources, or follow me right into the next video where I talk about one of the problems with smoking weed. And this video is more about weed. I'll see you there.